we talk about the fundamental pillars. We talk about the proper riding positioning, TMA position, how to really have that effective control over your bike, and we see it every day from socials. We preach it, but I wanted to understand from you, how would you rank those fundamental pillars in order of importance from 1 to 5 or 7 or 3 or whatever the number is, just to see like what's the most important one for people to hone in on?
I don't think it's talked about enough, even by myself included. So
Yeah.
I did, though, talk about it a ton at class at Airway Heights,
Hmm.
which is where I just flew back from, Spokane, Washington. Places, dude, Dave, you would go nuts for this. I'm trying to book a week long there
Hmm.
because as I was pulling in, I've been there 3 or 4 times now, at least. And I was just, it's right next to the airport. It's
Hmm.
connected basically to a huge casino with a bunch of good restaurants. And
Hmm.
it's in like an area that doesn't seem like it would be possible for a dirt bike track. And I'm pulling in, and the week long camps have been on my radar. So I kind of have eyes for that, thinking about, can this be possible as I'm driving in?
Hmm.
The property is huge. There's tracks everywhere as you're pulling in. But the main track is so flowy. The dirt is awesome. And there's just massive jumps littered all over it.
Mm.
So I guess I'll get to me riding in a second. But
Hmm.
this was a group that we were working a tight right hand rut, and the rut was perfect,
Hmm.
but it was technical. It was tight, and everybody was riding up and out of it. That's everybody's issue. Is they some guys fall in. I think the faster guys' issue is that they fall inside of the rut,
Yep.
and then the slower riders' issue is they wish they could fall inside of the rut. They ride
Yeah.
up and out of the rut.
Yeah.
Um, I've never really thought of it in that way, but that's what it is. If you're a fast dude, you're probably falling inside of the rut because you're leaning too much
Hmm.
and or leaning before
You get
your throttle comes
throttle.
on.
Hmm.
But everybody else is basically looking straight down, and they can't track through the rut. They just keep they keep going straight.
Yeah.
So I had a long conversation, a lot of different conversations about where you should be looking,
Hmm.
and even experiment with your vision a little bit, which when I was done with class, I hopped on a factory edition Honda 450, which I've ridden the same exact bike there
Hmm.
multiple years now, which is awesome. So shout out for letting me ride that bike. I absolutely love it. And I did a moto. Now, when I say moto, the reason I air quote it is because I probably made it 4 laps. I was proud, actually.
Okay.
Probably 4 laps. And in that 4 laps, I only thought about where I was looking. And I was experimenting too, because there was a couple of weird off camber corners, like
Hmm.
ruts. They're over a hill, some kind of weird ones. And I
Mm.
was trying to see, okay, if I looked inside of the rut, like not in the rut, what
Hmm.
happens if I just look to the far inside of it?
Hmm.
Will it work for this specific corner? And it felt nice. I was actually able to breathe a little bit better, I think, because I just naturally, with my conscious awareness just being on my vision,
Hmm.
I think that I was just looking further out. And when
Mm.
riders forget this, but the faster you try and go, very likely the quicker or the more your vision is coming in, and the easier it is for you to ride over your eyes. And I love that Ryan Sipes worked with me last year when I was at Jet and Hunter's place,
Hmm.
and that was the first thing he caught me doing, because we were working on speed that day.
Hmm.
And he pulls me over and he goes, AJ, you're riding over your eyes. I go, what does that mean? He's like, as soon as you started trying to go fast, your eyes were looking at the old spot that you used to look at when you were going slow,
Oh, okay.
and you weren't adjusting your eyes accordingly. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah, like your reference point for different speeds needs to change
Be
as you
different spots.
increase. Yeah, as you increase mile per hour, you need to look a little bit higher in the horizon because things
Yeah,
are
because when
coming.
you ride laps, think about it
Yeah.
this way. I haven't had enough good conversation like this about vision and riding,
Mhm.
but think about when you're doing laps. If you were out there for 5 laps, 10 laps on a track, long
Mhm.
enough to have the track completely memorized and the lines completely memorized, essentially what you're doing on a lap to lap basis is you are spotting out your landmarks, your reference marks, right?
Mm.
Whether it be
Yep.
that rock or that bump or that rut, you're looking at it. At least I do. And maybe Dave, tell me what you do.
Mhm.
That's how I know where I'm going. That's how I know where to sit. That's how I know where to shift. It's by referencing those points. And if you were going to try to go 1 second a lap faster or 5 seconds a lap faster, those can't be your reference points anymore. They have to be different ones.
Yeah. I tend to do markers outside of the track. Like, okay, I'm past the whatever tree. Now I can start to, or get ready for this section where it's a back, left, back, all that other stuff. So I tend to do that. But if I have a moment on the track to take a breather, that could be a marker too, like a floater or something. You're just let the arms go loose or something. But yeah, for the most part, it's the eyes for me, man. Once I did that, it was just I forget, because it's been a while since I've had to come back from an injury where I was just sitting on the couch not doing anything, So you forget like your routine, what you're supposed to do. Eye speed becomes slower, and you talked about that before. Slower. Oh my gosh! And I'm thinking like, and I hate this, but I was like, should I bring Maeve's little like play balls and like do the freaking pre-Supercross workout? I'm like, I hate it, but if it helps,
I hate it.
My least favorite thing to do before a Supercross race. But
the reason why I actually had to pull off, it was a combo move got me. It was a cross contamination of arm pump and blurred vision because my eyes were struggling so bad to keep up by the end of me focusing on where I was looking the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ate enough that day, but my vision just got so blurry. I'd be hitting the acceleration bumps and I was like, man, I can't see.
Oh, so I'm glad you mentioned that because I've been asking my buddies I ride with, I'm like, hey, this one straightaway, which I never used to think about. I'm like, are you guys just getting like tons of like eye chatter? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, literally, I'm going blurry, like as I'm going through these like these acceleration, and they're
Do
tiny.
I need glasses?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, should I ride with my glasses or should I ride with my contacts in?
If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.